If everything has already happened, if destiny is already written, if you are only living out a script, then why do heaven and hell exist? In a story already written, is judgment still possible? If God already knows, why are we judged at all? From the mind's perspective, this question is a dead end. But through the lens of Ibn Arabi, it becomes one of the greatest doors from nothingness into truth. This is the doorway of Sufism. If you know that everything already exists within God's knowledge, yet you still cannot understand heaven and hell, then subscribe to Ibn Arabi's legacy. Because in this video, we will read the afterlife not just as a place, but as a state of consciousness. Let us begin. First, let's make this clear. According to Ibn Arabi, is destiny already written? Yes, because God's knowledge is beyond time. Past, present, and future, in His sight, are a single instant. That is why He knows. He knows what you will choose, the path you will walk, the mistakes you will make, the forgiveness you will receive. But His knowing is not intervention. Think of a teacher who knows his student well. He knows what the student will do, but he does not write it for him. And here the first secret opens. Heaven and hell are not judgments. They are reflections. They are the outward display of who you have become, the truth you have lived, the essence you have remained faithful to. Hell is not a punishment imposed upon you. It is the burning part of your own self revealed. And heaven is not a reward. It is the unveiling of the divine essence within you. Ibn Arabi said, "The hereafter is the inner world of a person becoming visible. What you are there is what you already were." No one throws you into hell. You were already living in your own hell within. The afterlife only makes it visible. The veils are lifted, the coverings fall, excuses fall silent, and you are left face to face with yourself. This is hell. But why is this state delayed? Why is it not revealed immediately? Because this world is the world of veils. Here, people can hide. They can mask what is inside. They can wear one face outwardly while carrying another in their hearts. But the hereafter is the stage where all veils are lifted. According to Ibn Arabi, hell is not punishment. It is purification. It is the burning of the soul that could not meet divine light. That is why you burn. But that burning is not revenge. It is cleansing, and that cleansing prepares you for truth. Hell begins within us, and if that inner fire is not recognized in this world, then in the hereafter, it becomes visible. Because God is not only just, He is also merciful. That is why He sends you warnings in this life. He gives you signs. He stirs unease in your heart, sometimes through a friend, sometimes through a book, sometimes through solitude. But if you do not hear, if you do not see, if you do not understand, then the veil is lifted, and in that moment, you either meet the light or you drown in your own darkness. Ibn Arabi's understanding of paradise is also unique. Paradise is not a reward. It is a state of recognition. The more you know God, the closer you draw to Him, the more you resemble Him, the more paradise becomes visible within you. Paradise is not simply a garden. It is a level of consciousness. It is the return of the light your heart carries. And that light reveals itself in a smile, in an act of forgiveness, in a prostration, in a silence. The question you must ask is this: what is my heart closer to? Am I carrying light, or am I carrying anger? Am I spreading compassion, or am I radiating arrogance? For Ibn Arabi taught that your inner world becomes your afterlife. And so, the afterlife is not far away. It is what waits within you, to be unveiled. Paradise may look like a reward, but in truth, it is the deep fulfillment of returning to your essence. And that essence is not only written in this world, it has always been inscribed in God's knowledge. But then, why do we still try? Why are we still tested if everything is already written? Because you must live what you need to know. Living is the practice of knowing. God knows, but you do not. You must learn. And learning happens through trial, through mistakes, through tears, through loss. But these losses are not to throw you into hell. They are to make you aware of hell within. For the greatest hell is to live without ever noticing your own falsehood, and the greatest paradise is to see truth and draw near to it. This is why the afterlife is not a location. It is a state of being. What you are, you will be there. What you loved, you will face there. Is hell an eternal punishment or an eternal cleansing? According to Ibn Arabi, if God's mercy encompasses all things, then even hell cannot remain outside of it. Think carefully on this, because here lies a truth that shakes the mind. Hell is not the place of God's wrath, it is the field of His mercy's purification. Yes, we burn, but that burning is not punishment, it is cleansing. Because in this world most people cannot fully purify the self. No matter how much they read, pray, or reflect, the thick veils of the ego are not easily lifted. That is why God wills that His servant be freed from those veils, and for some, this cannot be done in life. Hell is the place where that unfinished purification is completed. It looks terrifying, but behind it is a stage written with mercy. Ibn Arabi said, "Hell is the temporary veil of mercy. Paradise is the face of mercy. Wrath is but the stern mirror of mercy. It burns, but its burning is to refine the soul, like gold purified in fire, like a raw fruit ripening in the sun." That is why every pain there is not a condemnation, but a preparation. And what about paradise? So, is paradise endless joy? Yes, but it is not a pleasure that can be consumed. It is the fulfillment of returning to yourself. Paradise contains everything. But what makes it paradise is that you are at peace with yourself there. Paradise is not first a place, it is a state. It is your soul trembling in harmony with the divine order, and that vibration begins here, in this world, in this heart. The afterlife is simply the next station of the path you already begin here. Your state of paradise or hell is hidden in the steps you take today. That is why you must pay attention to what you love. For Ibn Arabi said, "The servant is with the one he loves." And the afterlife is the outward form of that companionship. Whom do you love in this life? What thoughts, what actions, what states? For there you will be with them. If you chose love, you walk into mercy. If you chose hatred, arrogance, violence, oppression, then those too will meet you. Because hell is not retaliation, it is reflection. Here lies another secret. Hell is a station, but not a permanent dwelling. According to some of Ibn Arabi's interpretations, deliverance from hell is possible, because nothing exists outside of God's mercy. Everything returns, through burning, through ripening, to the absolute being, and that return is not punishment, it is completion. But what about eternity? Doesn't the Quran describe hell as eternal? Ibn Arabi interprets eternity as a state of being. Hell is sometimes a consciousness that has lost all sense of time. As long as you remain there, it feels unending. But by God's will, it may end in mercy. For God is never unjust, and He never places His mercy behind His wrath. That is why some Sufis said, "Hell is not hell because of injustice. It is hell because there is no light in it. Hell is darkness. But that light can be found again. It can be born again. And every birth passes through the path of loss. For one who never loses himself can never truly be found." At this point, Ibn Arabi says, "If the servant accepts even hell, God will reward him with paradise." In other words, surrender changes everything. You must be content, not with punishment, but with yourself. For your hell is simply the face within you that you do not want to see. And the one who makes peace with that face is surrounded by light. So now ask yourself, what fire burns within me, and what is feeding it? This world is a veil, but when the veils are lifted, only one truth remains: what you have done to yourself. and in that moment, you are left with what you have become. But do not forget, God did not create hell to burn you. He created it to show you yourself. And He did not open paradise to reward you. He opened it to see Himself through your eyes. For in the end, everything returns to Him. And in returning, some are clothed in light, and some burn. But even in burning, they shine.